I'm fortunate because I get to work with a lot of new couples and they end up getting married, and then I get to talk to them after their marriage. One thing I'm seeing a lot more of since 2020 is the incredible uptick of post-wedding depression. Yes, it is depression, and yes, it does happen. But what's important is many couples after the wedding, there has been a serious letdown, and separating that letdown from depression takes time. If you are recently married and you're feeling really depressed, and it's been over 3 weeks in this case, then it's time to talk to a therapist. But otherwise, I think what's important is to understand why it may be happening. If you put all that focus onto your wedding day, and that's all you talk about, all your social media posts, all your energy, all your creativity is going into that one day, it only makes sense that after that's over and you're together to go on in your own life, you're going to feel a void. Most of the time, that void is temporary, but not always. And that's when it turns into a depression. What's interesting is there doesn't seem to be a high correlation with going into this post-wedding depression. According to how you were in the past. Many times we say, well, if you're more melancholy, you can expect to fall a little harder after the marriage. This isn't necessarily true in this case. What we're seeing more is it was people who put a lot of time and effort into planning the wedding day, almost that it took over their life. It was not proportionate to just celebrating the day and then focusing on the marriage after. If you're in this category, I've got some tips that I think are going to help. The first thing is I want you to make note by journaling or just writing down your feelings. Many times, just from doing this exercise, like, what are you feeling? Are you feeling empty? Are you feeling bored? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling taken advantage of? These are not depression. These are feelings that must be worked through and talked about, but it's not necessarily depression. Depression is usually pretty empty and it feels really sad, and that's a whole different feeling. If you find out that you're feeling bored, that's a relief, because boredom you can cure with doing little things, readdressing how you think about things, your mindset, your perspective. But depression is not so easily taken care of as that. Focusing on creating a new hobby or project together. Let's face it, you used a lot of creative juices planning that wedding day. Now what I'm asking you to do is redirect that into a whole new area. Maybe start candlelight dinners, maybe start cooking a new cuisine, maybe take day trips with your partner. Work together to put those creative juices to work. How are you going to live together going forward? What do you want to create in your marriage? How are you personally going to contribute to making it an awesome relationship between you and your partner? Next, spend time with family and friends who are really good marriage mentors. You know, you're going to need people that are supportive and encouraging, especially that first year of marriage. I've told you before that I fell down after my wedding day, and that first year of marriage for me was very tough. We moved away from my family. We moved to another state. I was alone. I had no friends. He was busy in his career. I was starting school there. It was a very difficult time. And I think when we understand these things, when we have mentors we can talk to about how we feel, many times they encourage us in a way that what we think is our partner working against us, we find out is just the way all guys are, or a lot of women act this way. And we don't take it so personally, and we're able to get unstuck from the rut we've created for ourselves. Lastly, give yourself time. You know, I told you the year after my wedding was very difficult. I would say it took about 2 years. It's a transition. It's a new kind of lifestyle. And it's not going to happen overnight, especially if you're strong in your own values and your partner's strong in your own values, and you've really never taken time to get curious, ask each other how you feel, really work on that intimacy and closeness. I would recommend that you really take your time and try to address that. And also, along with that one, I would say pre-marriage counseling is the best. But post-marriage counseling works nice too. And that's where I see the majority of my clients, because when it's premarital, they're just convinced they're never going to fight. They get along great. They're best friends. There's no conflict. They're under the influence of lust and love. But let me tell you, that wears off. And when you're working and you have finances to worry about, possibly planning a child, possibly planning a move, a new home, these things all get put into the global mix of your marriage, and they can cause a lot of problems. When you talk to a therapist, tell them how you feel. They're going to help you communicate that to each other. That's going to deepen the relationship, the communication, and work in helping you build a team, a solid marriage foundation, which is essential in that first 2 years of marriage. So anyway, keep at it. You remember, it's a process. It's going to take time. It's not going to change overnight. Instead of focusing on what your partner needs to do, always turn that mirror around to you and ask yourself, what can I do today that's going to help improve my marriage and help me commit and love and appreciate my partner more?